My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Forrest Gump is not a comedy. It is not an inspiring underdog story. Beneath the Oscars, the iconic quotes, and the box office billions, at its core, it is a psychological tragedy about a man terrified of his own mind. When a normal man meets his child, he asks, "What's his name?" But the man mocked his entire life for a low IQ. He asks the one question that shatters you.
But is he smart?
He's very smart.
To bring that devastating level of self-awareness to life, Hollywood's greatest actor had to face a complete mental breakdown.
Not everybody, but certainly I felt as though I was utterly stripped naked there for a minute. And
we look at this bench today and see a cinematic monument. But in Savannah, Georgia, in 1993...
You know, I was just going to say, I finally fit back into this suit.
Tom Hanks sat in that exact cream suit, staring at the ground, convinced he was ruining his career.
I tell you, it was exhausting. It was, it was very tough.
The production was running at a breakneck pace. They had shot for 27 straight days without a single break.
Especially late in the schedule the way it was just, it's the last thing I thought I would want to do.
Exhausted, Hanks turned to director Robert Zemeckis and broke down. "Bob, there's no way my sad little brain can learn this much dialogue." He looked down at his clothes and asked the terrifying question.
Anybody going to care about this guy dressed up in like this kooky ice cream suit sitting on this bench? saying stuff, you know. Is it going to cut together? Is it going to matter? Is it going to make any sense? And Bob, well, that's the thing about making movies, Tom. It's a minefield. It's just a fucking minefield. We don't know if we're sowing the seeds of our own destruction or not.
The root of Hanks's panic wasn't the schedule. It was the character's internal logic. To play Forrest, Hanks first tried a generic Southern accent.
Bob said, okay, we got a problem here. You're going to have to teach this kid how to talk the way you want to talk. And I thought, why don't I just talk the way he talks right now? And so we started hanging out with him. And he was from Mississippi, deep in Mississippi.
And it felt completely hollow. It felt like an actor trying to act simple rather than being simple. They realized a terrifying truth. A pure man cannot be intellectualized. Every time Hanks tried to add a subtle layer of subtext, it ruined the illusion. Creating Forrest Gump wasn't a process of addition. It was a rigorous exercise in subtraction. He had to be entirely void of cynicism, a man who operates strictly at the speed limit of his mama's common sense.
We never had the real template for the way Forrest needed to sound, for good or for bad.
If Mama didn't program it into his head, Forrest simply couldn't process it, which left Hanks with a massive void.
Mama always had a way of explaining things so I could understand them.
How do you speak without sounding like you're analyzing the room? Hanks was trapped in an echo chamber of his own voice.
And what we don't want to do is make that yet another editorial comment on how bad a place it was or why it just was.
And Tom Hanks grabbed a tape recorder. He decided to step out of the studio, get into a car, and sit next to a 9-year-old kid named Michael. Instead of forcing a young actor to mimic a Hollywood superstar, the superstar decided to reverse engineer a 9-year-old. The boy was Michael Connor Humphreys, a completely untrained kid from the deep pockets of Mississippi. Hanks kept the tape recorder running during their casual drives, hunting for the kid's natural rhythm. And then, it happened.
It wasn't making, it was making. And I said, what does your father do? I go, my daddy makes grease.
That's what he said. And he said, I don't understand, is grease something you make? Yes. He says, what do you do with grease? Well, grease goes into all different sorts of products. I said, well, like what products? Oh, grease goes into lipsticks. And I was like...
It was the pure, unadulterated common sense of a child. Hanks realized this wasn't just an accent. It was a physical cadence.
What? It's my party dress.
What's a party?
Haven't you ever been to a party before? Are you stupid or something?
My mama says stupid as stupid does.
Hanks absorbed every single vocal tick. He didn't invent the iconic voice of Forrest Gump. He completely cloned it. But finding the voice was only the first miracle. The second miracle was how this untrained kid from Mississippi ended up in front of that camera in the first place.
Do you think this advanced operating environment is worth? Wait just 1 minute before you answer.
Michael Humphreys didn't have an agent. He didn't go to acting classes. His entire career started because his parents left the TV on. A local 7 p.m. news broadcast announced an open casting call for a Tom Hanks movie. His mother asked him if he wanted to try out, just for fun. Upon release in 1994, the film didn't just succeed. It swallowed pop culture whole. And overnight, Michael Humphreys became the most famous kid on the planet. Hollywood immediately did what Hollywood does. They prepared to monetize the child. Top-tier agents called. Contracts were drafted. The machine opened its jaws. He didn't want to relocate to California. He didn't want to spend his childhood in audition waiting rooms. He just wanted to go home.
Not only as a teenager and young man, but I was at the peak of my disillusionment with having been a former child star, right? Basically, I was never really a former child star. I was in the one movie, but like there was that stuff that surrounded it, and then I didn't do anything else after that. So most of my teenage years were spent dealing with all the attention and the fallout of having been in Forrest Gump.
But Michael was saved by ordinary parents who viewed their son appearing on a 7 p.m. broadcast as nothing more than a funny weekend anecdote. This 9-year-old used his absolute normalcy to leave Hollywood behind, but the shadow of Forrest Gump wasn't done with him yet.
And I was like, I'm never going to do anything else in my life that even remotely compares to that thing I did when I was 8. And I was like, except maybe be in a real life war. I was like, that's the only thing I can think of.
As Michael grew up, the character refused to let go. People expected a grand second act, but he was just a regular teenager. There was no follow-up until September 11th, 2001.
He enlisted.
I feel like there was a duty to go do it because it's just part of being the citizen of a country. That's what you got to do.
Watching his country shake, the 16-year-old felt a profound shift. At 18, he enlisted. The boy who taught Forrest Gump how to run across a fictional battlefield found himself marching into a real one in Anbar, Iraq. In an industry that pays millions to fabricate a legacy, this man used his absolute reality to validate his existence. The boy taught Tom Hanks how to play a hero, only to become a real one.
Is what really matters.
I'm very proud of having been in the military. I've actually put that ahead of having been in Forrest Gump as far as a significant thing I've done with my life.
That March evening in Los Angeles, Tom Hanks won his second consecutive Academy Award. The world looked at that stage and thought his ultimate masterpiece was an 8-pound golden trophy locked inside a glass case. But cinema knows the truth. The real award wasn't handed to him by the Academy. It was handed to him by a skinny kid from Mississippi who taught him how to strip away the noise of the world and proved that pure, uncalculated goodness will always outrun the fastest runner.